what's unusual about this is that here we have, for the first time in the Chosen dynasty, a poetess making fun of herself. There is a self-mocking, ironic content in this poem which really lends it distinction. She's talking about herself as a prisoner of her own emotions.
A courageous woman who was frank about her love. Her name was Hwang Jini.
The Kisaeng of Joseon period had to deal with all kinds of people, from noblemen to the men of low class. Would the Kisaeng have had the chance to love despite the humble position they were in? On the contrary, that chance to love would have been such a valuable and needful thing for them. Perhaps that's why many of the poems written by the Kisaeng of Joseon period were on yearnings for their loved ones. One of them who wrote the best poems was Hwang Jini. She was not only the foremost Kisaeng, but also the foremost woman of those times.
Hwang Jini is known as the most famous Kisaeng of the Joseon period, but the exact period of her existence cannot be found in records. We only assume that she died in the 1560s before she turned 40. Hwang Jini. She is a woman full of mystery, from her birth to her actual life. She was born into a difficult social position, a daughter of a concubine. She wanted to escape the contempt of feudal ethics that surrounded her.
어서 불공 들으러 갈 차비를 차리지 않고서
전 가지 않겠어요, 어머니.
무슨 소리? 이번 혼사는 꼭 성사되어야 한다.
불공을 드린다고 해서 이제껏 안 되던 혼사가 어디 마음대로 되는 건가요? 전 아직 혼례를 올릴 마음이 없어요.
처자가 할 소리가 아니로구나.
In those days, becoming a Kisaeng was the only way to do that. So she chose that path without hesitation. And she became a star.
정말 아름다운 것을 보여드리죠.
She is a status symbol. She's the lady that tried in every way she could to subvert Chosen dynasty institutions. She defied all sorts of convention. She was famous for her beauty, for her music abilities, for her poetry.
It was not her beauty that made her so popular. She was intelligent, witty, and wise. She left 6 shijos and 8 Chinese poetry, which were not a lot in number, but which all contained rare beauty. Hwang Jini especially sings of love in most of her poems. This piece of shijo is known as the most beautiful and refined. By expressing earnest longings and awaitings through extraordinary thoughts about time, it brings great poetic effects.
It's where she talks about cutting a piece from the side of winter night, winding it in coils beneath the bed covers to unfold coil by coil the night her lover returns. It's a lovely poem, and it's got that really fine central image, a sort of a metaphysical conceit where the speaker cuts a long length from the abstract night and winds that in coils under her bed covers.
Her clever use of language and her wit brought all men to admire her.
명월이 만공산하니
흐르는 벽계수가 쉬어갈까 하노라.
쉬어가는 벽계수에 명월이 담길 쏜가. 머무는 바다에나 명월이 잠기도다.
The man she was speaking to was Pyeokgae-soo of the royal family. Jealous of her beauty and skills, he boasted that he could meet her without being blinded by love. In order to test his purity, she entices him to Manwoldae and succeeds in tempting him. Her tact of telling him to rest by her side in the short life turned out to be successful. However, unlike her attitude toward men, her inner mind was weak and tender.
Usually, it's the man that ends the relationship. But here, Hwang Jini throws the lover out, and then she finds herself a victim of her own feelings. And it's not quite as simple as she thought initially when she was ending the relationship. So you have a whole complexity of feeling in here that wasn't normal in Chosun Dynasty Shijo at this particular time.
The most famous piece written by Hwang Jini was about Seo Gyeong-deok. Free from the lamentations and scorn of her situation, she found a way to go against the twisted society. And the person she finally went to was Seo Gyeong-deok, the best moralist of the period. She learned about the philosophy of life from him and tried her best to live that way. After Seo Gyeong-deok's death, she searched for traces of his teachings. At about the age of 40, she died of a disease.
I don't think of her as a tragic hero. I think of her as having won this particular little game and written this lovely, lovely poem to commemorate it. She will survive in Korea as long as people want a little bit of romance in their lives. I hope her image lasts a long, long time. I just would wish.
Born of humble rank, the Kisaeng, Hwang Jini, could not live as a woman and had to part with her loved ones. Her poems still touch the hearts of many people. Through poems, she had probably wanted to express her true hopes that she had to veil from those around her.
Dying before the age of 40, Hwang Jini's will went like this. I like to be with other people throughout my life, so do not bury me among the lonely mountains, but by the road where people often pass by. I like the music throughout my life, so play music at my funeral instead of wailing for me. What was the true image that this Kisaeng who used to sing of love dreamt of? It was probably not an image of a Kisaeng, a poet, or a philosopher. She would have most likely wanted to be remembered as a woman who was loved by everyone who knew